everybody. My name is Kyle Porter. Let me fix this here. And I'm from SalesLoft. So I'm super excited to be here today. This is an honor for us. Look out in the audience and see all our friends, mentors, people from the Atlanta community, and know that this community is how we got to where we are. So thank you for that. SalesLoft is changing the way that businesses sell by leveraging the power of data. And we plan to be the next big disruption in sales technology since Salesforce.com. Let me show you how we plan to do it. So, sales is the lifeblood of most organizations. And companies are spending over $13 billion a year in CRM technologies. But what they're getting with those CRM technologies is limited. The information is name, phone number, address, basic contact information, some manually entered stuff about opportunities, but it doesn't include all the dynamic stuff that's happening about these companies on the web and these people on the web. Not to mention, the minute that that information goes into the database, it immediately starts to decay and decline. On top of that, sales reps are spending their own time to go out on the web and find out this dynamic information. They're researching blogs, social streams, email newsletters, all this in the efforts to try to find out more about the companies and people that they're selling to. But it's ad hoc and it takes a lot of time. From our independent research as well as outside parties, we've noticed that sales reps are spending between 15 and 30% of their time in research alone. This slows down their time to close deals and keeps them from leading teams. So that's where the SalesLoft engine comes in. We built a dynamic software application that goes into a CRM system and identifies the companies and people that sales reps care about. It pays particular attention to the deals you've done before in the past, the time from lead to opportunity, the leads that didn't become opportunities. It identifies all that information in a CRM and then goes out on the web, searching the web all the way wide for information on those companies and people. It's like a team of MBAs, thousands and thousands of MBAs out doing your research on your behalf. So we tie into systems like Jigsaw. We look in websites and grab news feeds and blog feeds. We do things dynamic like go into the JavaScript of companies' websites and identify all the SaaS tools they're utilizing. So it's everything from basic news to this exclusive technical information. And then we take all that data and deliver it back to the sales rep to do two things. One, help them generate a list of new leads based on data analytics. Companies that look like the deals you've done before in the past. Companies that are growing, spending money. They've got a complementary technology environment. These are the organizations that have the DNA of companies that you want to sell to. And the other thing we do is we create this ongoing scouting report for sales reps. So if you've got 400 clients or 400 prospects that you're chasing down, we're going to deliver you with the daily digest of all this information that matters to you about those companies and send it to you in a way that's digestible and actionable. I want to walk through a quick case study with one of our customers. This is a gentleman at Thomson Reuters selling tax software who uses SalesLoft. He's got 140 companies that are his prospects that he's routinely working deals with. Some are customers already, and some are in the pipeline. And every day he rides the train from New Jersey to New York. He pulls out his phone, and he gets the SalesLoft alerts on these companies and on these people that matter to him. He's able to hit a quick button on the right-hand side of their email address and auto-generate an email correspondence about that event that has just taken place. So now this typical downtime on the train, where he might have been listening to music or reading a book, is spent being productive and reaching out to the prospects that matter to him. I want to show you some of the data. This is the back end of SalesLoft for a company. We take millions of organizations and identify all kinds of data about those companies. So in this example, we've grabbed all the social profiles, the basic demographics, all the jobs they've posted, all the technology SaaS tools they have on their website. We've gathered information on how much money they're spending in advertising, all the internal news, blogs, all the external information, and we're digesting all this data so we can do amazing stuff with it. One of the things we can do with the data is rank prospects based on their likeliness to buy. So these companies match up with deals that this organization's done before in the past, and they also show signs of similarities to the DNA profile of companies they're selling to. This is the newest feature of SalesLoft. This is a SalesLoft stream. This is a one location that a sales rep can go to either on the web, inside a CRM, or on his mobile phone to see what's happening with the companies and prospects they care about. And they can filter that information on the right-hand side and say, I don't want to know about new offerings, but I'd like to know about IT execs in the news, for example. And they can filter all that other data from there. We started the company in mid-September and have hit some pretty good milestones along the path. We've got paying customers today. We released our first product less than 60 days after we started the company and had paying customers 30 days later. We passed the Salesforce.com App Exchange review before the end of the year last year and are listed in their exchange. We received the Customer Choice #1 Customer Choice App of the Month earlier this year in Salesforce.com. We've got revenue and we've got money in the bank, and we're growing the organization. One other milestone that we just recently reached the last week is a partnership relationship with Microsoft for their Bing Search API. We utilize this API to gather all kinds of data and intelligence on the companies and people you care about. Since October, we've had 15,000 unique visitors to the SalesLoft website. Over 2,500 have signed up for something on our website, whether that's to learn more information, sign up for the blog, asking for a demo. They've given us their information. Over 1,000 have signed up for our free model application that gives a taste of sales intelligence. We've taken these leads and we turn them into qualification calls. We turn those qualification calls into demos, and we turn those demos into proof of concepts and customers. And we measure all along the path. This information is derived from that data. We've also bounced our projections off of similar SaaS companies like Pardot here in town, companies like HubSpot and other B2B SaaS companies. This is a big space, and there's a lot of companies that are interested in data for sales. Big data, sales intelligence, there's a lot of big buzzwords going on here, and so companies have migrated to this space. There's a few legacy competitors, but there's a lot of new companies coming in. One of the things that we've done to take significant advantage over those organizations is our partnerships. We've got a strong relationship with Salesforce.com. In fact, the GM of Jigsaw.com, or the gentleman who bought Jigsaw for $160 million, sat in our office and told us that we're the favorite sales intelligence company in the Salesforce.com ecosystem right now. I mentioned the Microsoft Bing API, and there's all kinds of opportunities for us to reach out to these data providers and build relationships with them. We're gathering more intelligence across a wider range of sources than our competitors as well. So our biggest competitor, InsideView, looks at 20,000 news sources for their data, and all they do is news data. We're going to millions of sites and adding that to the technology data, the advertising data, the spend and growth information, as well as social. And it's nothing, and none of this matters at all unless you can deliver this data back to a sales rep in an easy-to-consume way, an actionable way. So our front end is going to be a core differentiator for us. This is the team, the most important thing we've got going on right now. David Cummings on the right-hand side. Many of you guys know him. He's one of the best minds in B2B marketing and sales technology here in the US. He's an unbelievable entrepreneur, and we couldn't be where we are without him. On the left is Chris Beauregard. He's our lead web developer. He was most recently an Army Ranger captain in Iraq doing intelligence work on our enemies. Now he's doing intelligence work for SalesLoft. And John Birdsong on the right, one of the greatest guys to wear your logo in the business. We're honored to have him on board. We recently hired a gentleman named Todd Wilson who's been doing big data here in Atlanta, and he's earned himself the nickname of Big Data. I myself have been selling and building products. I've been using tools like this, and this tool scratches my itch. I want to walk you guys through a case study of someone that's using this application. Rigor was one of the first customers to use SalesLoft. They sell web performance management software to e-commerce companies and SaaS organizations. Basically, they speed up websites and make sure they don't break. When we came to them, they had a list of 25,000 e-commerce companies that they were calling on. They had generated through an industry list. They were turning about 1 in every 15 of these leads into an opportunity. Through SalesLoft mining their CRM, we were able to identify DNA characteristics of the companies they had sold to before in the past. And we identified that companies that used Magento, which is an e-commerce tool, companies in the US that were growing fast, and organizations that were using other SaaS tools were more likely to buy from them. So we took this list of 25,000 companies and brought it down to a list of 1,000. And when their sales team called on those companies, they were able to convert 1 in 3 to opportunities. The biggest thing that was a value add here, the CEO said, was that now his sales reps aren't mining information all over the web trying to track these opportunities. They're going straight to this list of 1,000, calling on them, pitching the message. They already know who that customer is. They already know what they're doing, and they're turning those into opportunities. And they had their strongest quarter ever with this data. These are my roommates. We moved in together 2 weeks ago in Boulder, Colorado as part of a Techstars program. Techstars is a national accelerator, one of the top in the nation. 1,400 companies applied and only 12 made it in. Here we're able to do things like build relationships with the folks at Microsoft, at LinkedIn, and build relationships with Fortune 500 execs that are interested in our product. We've got amazing mentors there, and we've been able to build on the product with the help of these free resources they call Hackstars. But we're taking all the information we've learned, we're building our company there, and we're coming back in August, and we're excited about coming back to Atlanta. Some of our accolades to date, I mentioned Salesforce.com Customer Choice App of the Month. We're honored to be a part of ATDC as a select member, and also to be a top 10 innovative company in Georgia through TAG. This quote on the bottom left-hand side is one of my favorites. This is the number 2 guy at Salesforce.com. Salesforce.com is doing $2.5 billion in revenue with 130,000 customers for CRM. And he says that without sales intelligence, you're driving with dirty windows, but with it, you've got real-time GPS and geo-tracking enabled. Our whole organization is based of Atlantans. I myself went to school at Georgia Tech on 5th and Spring Street, worked in the ATDC building for years next door to the TAG offices, next door to Atlanta Technology Angels. And we've built this company based on the information, the resources, the mentorship that we've received in this community. In fact, I met my wife and we went on our first date at Tech Square to a place called Globe Restaurant. It's no longer there. But the skills we've learned still are. And so we're here today. We want to ask for your vote. We want to represent Atlanta on a global stage. And thank you for your time.
Great presentation. So I'm a little confused about the Salesforce relationship. You leverage Jigsaw, you are an App Exchange partner, but you're competing with them at some level as well. Do you drive additional Salesforce licenses somehow in the process? I mean, is that your process?
We do. So we don't compete in the sense that we store CRM data, name, phone number, address, contact information. Think of us as metadata to CRM, right? There's all that stuff that already exists, but there's all kinds of stuff happening on the web that's not being captured there. And so we go out and capture that on behalf of the client. So for us, we have actually brought some customers to Salesforce.com, and they like to represent us when they're in sales. So they'll tell a big company, hey, if you come on board the Salesforce.com platform, here's all the apps that you have opportunity to go after. And this one may solve your particular challenge that you're faced with today. So we don't compete with CRM, we append to CRM.
So building off of that, who do you see as competition as you're talking to companies?
There's a couple of other sales intelligence companies. One is an organization named Inside View in California. There's another called Lattice Engines. Inside View is about 6 years old. They've raised some money. They built a product. They're the ones that I mentioned that have 20,000 news sources for their information, whereas we look at 2 million. And there's a whole lot of other things we're doing in terms of the data that we're capturing and delivering back to our customers. But it's becoming a marketplace, the sales intelligence marketplace.
So I have some questions about Inside View. Seems like they've raised a pretty considerable amount of money. They've been around for a while, and I think you mentioned you developed your product in less than 2 months. So what prevents them from following and eclipsing, taking some of your learnings, accessing your data sources?
Is that it?
That's the first part.
Cool.
Sort of follow.
Yeah, great question. So Inside View has raised $36 million over 5 rounds over 5 years, 6 years. They've spent a lot of it, and we're very happy because they've spent a lot of it raising awareness for sales intelligence. So first off, we're happy that they're in the marketplace. They're raising awareness. They've got customers that we're overtaking. They're a player in the space. The other question is 2 things. 1, we're gathering more data than they are in a very fast amount of time. And 2, we're building relationships to get exclusive data. So the information that we generate on technologies that companies have, for example, we go to millions and millions of websites, scrape through all the JavaScript, and identify the tags for SaaS tools. We look for 1,200. They have no idea what SaaS tools companies are using. We're way ahead of them. They're 5, 6 years old, and we've already caught up to them in a lot of their feature sets. Obviously, you throw a lot of money and people at stuff, and you can do things, but we think we're on a fast pace. We're building exclusive channels of data, and we're doing things quicker and faster than they were.
You mentioned exclusivity. Can you talk about your partnership with Salesforce? Is that an exclusive partnership, or is that something that Inside View can also replicate?
So when I met with a gentleman named Brett Queener, he's the executive that bought Jigsaw for $160 million. He now runs Jigsaw as the GM. We sat down together, and he said the inside view was dead to him. He said that they had tried to outsell their customers. They were trying to outsell that Data.com product, and that relationship is no longer existent. So there are opportunities for new relationships, but that particular one is not going to happen. And no, there's not an exclusive arrangement between SalesLoft and Salesforce.com.
Can you talk just briefly about, you mentioned in your example sort of the salespeople using the tool to generate new opportunities. Can you unpack a little bit how getting that information, or just an example of, a sales rep, I guess, getting some piece of information that helps them? Do you guys have like a big win story where someone got, an article that was relevant and then fired off an email and that started a relationship?
Yeah, so one of the first customers that was using the application was Kishore at Thomson Reuters, selling the TaxStream software. We walked through the example. He's given us multiple cases where he's initiated conversations that have led to meetings that have led to sales. So he's using this information on the front end of sales, but the case study with Rigor, they're using that information to target the right customer. And then when they go into those calls, they know all those factors about that customer, so they know they go in with full information, and they're able to market based on that.
So for the sake of full disclosure, we're investors in Lattice Engines.
Okay.
We're small investors in Lattice Engines. We're really large investors in Marketo, and we're also investors in another company called LeadSpace, none of which I'm really involved in. But I think that I'm a little bit conflicted, but it also means we like the space, and I think recognize that there's a lot of value to be added to the process that both inside and outside sales reps go through. So I'd love your thoughts on Lattice Engines, just to get started. Be blunt. It's not my deal. You're not going to offend me.
I met Sashi at Dreamforce last year. Great guy. I sat through his presentation, learned a ton. That's what I was there to do. It seems like they're going after the wealth management, insurance, financial sector, which I think is a great sector. I think that there's all kinds of opportunities. Every sales professional in the world can use sales intelligence. And so what we've decided to go after first to break through the marketplace is SaaS companies that use Salesforce.com that also use a marketing automation tool and that are between 5 to 50 sales reps. So we do work with some big players. Salesforce.com is actually using our tool in some divisions, HP, Thomson Reuters, but our big target is that middle SMB, SaaS marketing automation player. One of the things we can do is we know the Marketo fingerprint. So I can give you back all the Marketo customers because we can scan the top 5 million Alexa rating companies and say, here's all the ones with Marketo tag. But we play real well with marketing automation. I mentioned the gentleman who's involved in the company, David Cummings. David's the founder of Pardot, which is an Atlanta-based marketing automation company. And this product was derived from us using marketing automation and seeing where those gaps were. So marketing automation tells you, company came to my website, they downloaded a white paper, they clicked a link in an email, they're very, very interested in you. Sales intelligence does the other thing, right? It says, you're interested in these people. They match the characteristics or the DNA profile of the companies you want to sell to, and then you can leverage the data that they create or the content that they create on the web and use that to connect with them.
Yeah, you kind of answered my second question, was who is your target customer? I think this thing you're describing, all right, you can look at all the tags, and so if I'm running sales at App Dynamics, it'd be great to know that the website's a New Relic customer and I have a specific script for that, or Gomez and Catchpoint, or any of those things. So that's really your SaaS software companies themselves are your kind of number one target out of the gate.
For now. And I think that expands. Our philosophy is it's a gigantic marketplace. Let's pick a pinpoint and break through and then see where it takes us. There's a big opportunity in the relationship sales business, like the stuff that Lattice Engine is doing. Think about brokers, recruiters, anyone selling wealth management. There's a huge opportunity because they want to be totally informed on the people they're selling to. And so we have found with our customers, there's a lot of companies that say, if something happens about a company I'm paying attention to or I'm following, and I don't know about that, I'm in trouble. And so this tool can always keep them informed. Thanks, Alex.
Nice job, Kyle, on the presentation.
Thanks,
I too love the space. I think it's big and a huge need. A couple questions. First, just in terms of where you guys are, remind me, when did the app go live? How much revenue have you closed in to date, and how many customers?
Yeah, so everyone that's used the application has been part of kind of an early adopter model. What we did was we started the company in September. We had our first app a few months, a month and a half later, and we put it in the hands of users and customers. We charged some revenue, but it was all to understand, how does this work? How does this fit the customer? How do we deliver this information back? And so to date, we've got 20 customers using the application. About 3/4 of them are paid customers. We also have a tool that people are using to get job change alerts notifications. We have over 1,000 users of that. So in all, I think we're sending about 1,040 daily emails out to people, different people that are receiving some form of sales intelligence. And what we've decided and what we found out from the 20 users, the 1,000 users, and these other 100 interviews we've done with sales professionals is that there's this huge opportunity that we're faced with. These sales execs are hungry for this information. We have the back-end data, and we're delivering it now through this new front end, which I showed you guys a piece of, which we just released built 2 weeks ago as part of the Techstars program. So we're in a process of gearing up for this new App Exchange release that's happening in the summer. And what it is for so long you've had Salesforce over here and App Exchange over here, and there's not a real correlation there that you got to kind of click off and do a bunch of things. And so they've got a strategy to bring those together. And they're doing this program called Go for the Gold, where they tie in merchant accounts, they tie in recurring revenue. And we're launching as part of this program in July as one of the first companies to be a part of this initiative. And Salesforce.com is going to market and advertise and help us to go to market through that channel. So that's the path is getting everything geared up for that point.
Just fair warning, be careful of promises for App Exchange partners in terms of marketing. But so 252,000, I think, is your goal in revenue for where are you going to be going into Memorial Day?
We'll be 10% of that. We're going to have to catch up through the end of the year.
Okay. Pricing, how does pricing work again?
We do 60 per user per month currently.
And the last thing, although I think I may understand this, so I'll just play back what I thought I heard. You're in it from an architecture standpoint. You have three major integration areas. One is from CRM system today, being Salesforce. Second is from marketing automation tool. It sounds like there's more than just Marketo, a couple of vendors that you work for. And then the third is just the public internet.
Yeah, so we don't integrate with Marketo. We do integrate with Pardot. We integrate with Salesforce.com. And then on the public internet, there's probably a dozen different APIs that we're tied into. Stuff like Jigsaw, Bing API, LinkedIn, all kinds of different.
And are you finding your customers that their sales folks are giving their login credentials for things like LinkedIn, for example, so that your data could be even more specific?
We've got over 1,000 LinkedIn OAuths in a 7-week period.
Nice job, Kyle.
Thanks.
You actually covered my list, man. So, anybody else have any more questions? I'm gonna pass. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah.